cedar closet so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Serving Johnson County, Texas, JoCo Community Radio.
Or Ron?
I sure will.
Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it. I thought I misheard it then. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to the Business Connections. I feel like I'm still in a different mode. So
You had to switch over from
I haven't turned my brain to
from politics to
yes.
business, which is, it's all
Right.
kind of business anyway. But welcome to another edition of JoCo Business Connections here on JoCo Community Radio. I'm Tiffany Carlin. Nona Reed is running things for us. And we've got two great guests that are joining us today. Joey DeGrande with DeGrande Digital, and also the amazing Christine Scharer with Rejeweled is joining us again, because we didn't get to finish your story the last time. And Joey's wife joined myself and my co-host on was it last Monday's Bombshell show? Yeah, it was. It was last Monday. So it was really great to get the perspective of your marketing business and all the stuff that you guys are doing, from the female perspective, and from diving right in feet first. And now we get to hear it from you, because you guys, you work together, but you do different aspects of the business.
Yes.
And so I like to bring people to the table together, because we can then brainstorm together on what's next for each of us, especially as entrepreneurs. The business world is changing. The world is changing, on a daily basis. The digital side is constantly changing. And so we've got to have the experts join us and help us get better and really just kind of the creative stuff that we've been talking about, just in the house for the past 2 weeks, especially during the being iced in and snowed. It's just, it was like constant fire, like you were just constantly hot, because we were just thinking of just good stuff, just really, really good stuff. So, and I saw that on Christine, I saw on yours, on your Facebook page, so you had something really cool happen with someone. You were able to bless someone. I saw it on your page. It was something with jewelry. So it was jewelry. I'm gonna pull it up really quick. But while I pull that up, if you would go ahead and reintroduce yourself and your business and what Rejeweled is all about.
My name's Christina, and it's Scharer. It's complicated when you spell it, but it's super simple to say. So I'm clarifying. I should probably just clarify that as I go along in life.
Yeah, but that was perfect, because that helped me.
Yeah,
that helped me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I started it. It's a jewelry business / ministry. It's coming up on 10 years.
Wow.
And we started shipping them out for free to women all over the world. And women started donating their broken jewelry to me from all over the world. So we've got pieces in 30 plus countries and all across the United States for free. We work with single mothers. Now that I'm widowed, we reach out to widows. It's kind of funny, because you don't have a platform until you have a platform. And see, people, they interpret what's happened to them as a negative. And God's like, I want you to turn around and make it a positive. And so that's pretty powerful right there. So that's pretty much it. We've got a bunch of jewelry right now that we're going to give to some women at our church on Sunday. Hopefully I'm going to be able to lay a table out and just let them pick. But when I hit the drive-through, I'm like, here's a piece of jewelry. And I mean, especially on the holidays, like Dunkin' Donuts, we just I brought like 5 pieces. I was like, how many women are in there? 4. Here's 4. I don't care what happens. But today I got a piece of toast with avocado, and it was so thick with avocado, I could barely hold it. And I'm like, this is the blessing. It's not the intention when you bless people, but God's favor, he loves people. Yeah. So that was kind of funny to me.
It always comes back. So
Yeah.
I found the story I'm looking for. You said Dunkin' Donuts, and it reminded me I left my coffee out there. So I'm going to go
I'll
grab
go
it here in a
get it.
second. Thank you.
I can't hear myself in here. Are you
Oh,
supposed to?
you can't. Yeah. Hang
Okay.
on, because they probably undid your headphones. So I'll fix that for you.
So I don't know if I'm screaming or.
You're not. You're
Good.
not. You're doing great. So you posted on February 6th on Facebook, and you said can you hear me okay now? Okay. Okay. So you're going to get that cover for her. It's a mission statement. Blessed a gal today with a beautiful necklace. And I think it meant more to me than it did to her. So I wanted to stop and say thank you to all of you who support us with your broken and unwanted jewelry pieces and your finances as well. We're celebrating our 10th year of using jewelry to touch the hearts of women all over the world, and it all goes as planned. We'll be speaking about it all over the country soon. Oh, news coming. To say we're excited is an understatement for sure. Love you, and thanks again for joining my journey, Christina. So what I wanted to know is more about that actual story about blessing this woman with a necklace, and how it meant more to you, even to you, more than it meant to her.
Right.
Or at least that was a feeling.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I can hear myself.
Yay. Okay. Awesome.
That is way different.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had an extra.
A little bit.
We
Yeah,
had-
that's good.
We had an extra set of earbuds sitting there, so had to swap them out. So talk about that story, because I think that this is a really good example of what it is that you do and why you do it.
Well, I was driving into the parking lot at church, and I saw this gal, and she reminded me of a gal that goes to church. And I was like, she's headed in the wrong direction. And this gal, like, she serves. She's there 3 services, all week. I mean, she lays her life down for this church that I go to. So I was like, wow, she's going, but it wasn't her. It was another gal, someone else, complete stranger. And so right away it was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, I'm sitting in the back row where I sit. When I first came into the church, I was like in the front row going, hey, I'm here. Anybody interested? I'm really awesome. And now I'm sitting in the very back by the door. But I love it because the people that come into the back row of the church are checking the church out. They're not committing. They're just kind of testing the water. So I sit back there and I just get motivated. I just can feel God just going, I need you to talk to that person, reach out. Sometimes I'm just back there by myself and nothing happens, but that's okay. Show up is what I'm going to tell everybody. Show up somewhere, because you're never going to know unless you show up. It's on you if you don't show up. Okay, so that's a sidebar. But anyways, yeah, so here comes this girl that I thought I saw in the car going the opposite direction. And I had brought this necklace with me. And it was a little sparrow, but it was marcasite, which is the black diamond. And it was beautiful. And I thought, oh, I'm going to give that to my daughter because, I just always want to bless my daughter. And I'm like, yeah, she won't think nothing of it, I hang on to that, So this gal was standing behind me. I'm in the back row again. And, and the Holy Spirit was like, give her that necklace. And I did. And you would not believe, like, she grabbed my neck, honey, and just gave me this righteous hug, And I just said, God sees you today. Which was the eye on the sparrow. Like, it just came out of my mouth. It wasn't prescripted. It wasn't planned. But I think she was touched by that,
Well, I mean, just like the title, the name of your company, Rejeweled. I mean, we're all a work in progress. We're all being recreated. It's the same thing when you're talking even about your businesses, and the day-to-day, the week-to-week, the month-to-month changes that we go through. It's a constant progression.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And whatever it was that God put in your heart and your ear when you said it to her, she was coming out of something, and she was in a moment of rebirth, and I mean, you just confirmed it for her.
Yeah, I think
And so I think that's one of those great things. This is the same thing that we have to do in our businesses as well. I mean, and you said it, you got to show up.
Mm,
You have got to show up.
Yeah.
If you choose to start a business, you've got to show up.
mhm.
And sometimes a lot of people are showing up, but they don't have that confidence then to move on to the next step. You know, we've been talking about this, and I was showing my cousins a book that I have that's it's one of my favorite books ever, and it's called What If? What if it all goes right?
Mm,
Most times when you're stepping into any role in life, new business, you know, it requires risk. You have to be a risk taker. You have to be a risk taker in all aspects of your life, really. I mean, really, growth is risk.
It is.
And so a lot of people will go into that thinking, but what if I fail?
Mm,
What if I don't make the money that I think that I need to make? What if they go to it in a what if negative direction?
mm.
So this book, What If It All Goes Right, is all about what if upping. And so we call it What If
That's
Upping.
awesome.
So what if it does go right?
Yes.
What if you make more than you need? What if you make more than you ever thought you could possibly make?
Mm,
What if you meet people
Come on.
who you're going to bless from it? What if you meet people who then learn from you
Yeah.
and decide to take a leap of faith and step out onto the ledge and jump into entrepreneurship?
Come on.
100%.
Right. So, I mean, this is like every part of what we do. I mean, talk about that, Joey. You know what it was like when you guys decided to, I mean, you got a multi-step process of what you guys did. So I don't know how much you got to talk to Joey outside, but he is the husband of my cousin. So I just call them my cousins
Yeah.
because he's my cousin. And they're from New Jersey, where I grew up. And now you're from all over.
Yeah, it's a weird concept.
Pull that mic to you just a
Sure.
little bit more. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, no. As far as like, oh my God, the planning. So like to give background, we're in New Jersey. We're in the hustle and bustle in the city, you know, originally like commuting and then obviously the pandemic hit. Like for a lot of people, everything shut down, the whole world shut down, and everything just stopped. And it kind of gave us a moment for us to really rethink of like, what do we truly want? And if what was happening was right for us. So like living close to the city and commuting. And we realized like in terms of like planning, like again, going this multi-step process, it was really just like thinking big. Like there was no boundaries whatsoever. And we thought of like, well, what if we sold our house? And then of course you have to think about it. If you go into that negative direction, you're like, oh, well, then I have nowhere to live. And what are we going to do? And so on. And we're like, well, what if it works out? So how is it we're going to work out? We ended up figuring out how to work remotely, having our business at Grande Digital. And then it was the second step of planning. Selling the house was obviously the first step, planning and figuring out, all right, where are we going to stay? Well, we thought about like, hey, there's obviously family, which we're so gracious to say at Tiffany. So thank you for that. But of course, there's also Airbnbs, you know, there's other solutions. We even dug into a rabbit hole of like even leveraging vacation rentals and then calling them up and seeing, you know, hey, would you accommodate us in our unique situation? So I guess like to kind of wrap it all up in a nutshell, it's going like above and beyond, not limiting yourself and your mind to solve that problem.
Mm,
And it really enabled us. And now like once we're finally in it, we're like, wow, this is happening. And like now we're like our next stop next week, we're heading out to Sedona, Arizona. I'm going to go see family there, hang out. And then we're going to stay on the West Coast for about 3 to 4 months. So it's
Take me with you.
Right? I've already asked. I've already asked, in fact. But see, they're the type to go, come on.
Yeah, it's true.
I can ride in
Yeah.
ride in one of the kayaks on the roof.
There you go.
I don't know how much room there is in the car anymore.
No, the car is packed to the gills.
Yeah.
With the dog too. So
Mm.
she's got her little cozy spot, but otherwise it's a jam-packed car.
Right?
I'll pass.
Yeah. But I can
Right.
follow them. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I can
Yeah.
follow them. There's no
I
doubt.
love it.
Well, you know, we joke about it, but honestly, it's so exciting. It's kind of like looking back at 10 years ago. What if you said no?
True.
Right.
You know, we talked about that a little bit when you were on the show a couple weeks ago. I mean, And you did at first, right? When
Oh,
your
I
husband bought
did.
you the
Yeah.
the equipment, you were like, "Pfft,
Yeah, kidding.
get out of
JK.
here."
That's like I'm like, put me in coach, and then when they do, you're like, just kidding.
kidding.
Too much pressure, you know. Yeah, it's true. You have to. There's obstacles though when you start. 100%. You know, I remember like right now I'm driving my daddy's caddy. Okay. But when I came out here the first time, no, when I was back in Arizona, I had a car, like I was duct taping the rearview mirror. You
Oh,
know what I'm
sure.
saying? I was investing in, I mean, I'm like, this stuff's amazing. What else can I do with it? Yeah.
Works wonders.
I'm telling you, and I remember, you know, I had all these events planned and they're outside the city and I got to go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if my car breaks down? And I felt like God said, what if it doesn't?
Mm.
What if
Right?
it doesn't? You know what I
That's-
mean? And I would get there and the blessing would be there and God would bring, I started praying, Lord, send me people with more to share and more to spare. Because if you're going to send me poor people, now you got 2 poor people. You know what
Right.
I mean? I can't do anything without money. Nobody can. It's
Sure.
it's not bad to have money. And so I remember one gal, she was like 65 and beautiful, really cute dressed, and her little granddaughters brought her to this outdoor market and she came in my booth. I love my booth. I mean, it's like, you know, just the vibe is there and God sends me these amazing people. But she came in, she's like, I'll take that. I'll take that. Oh my gosh, I love that. That is amazing. And before I knew, it was like $150 in like
Sure.
10 minutes. And I was like, more to share, more to spare. Like,
Yeah.
Lord, thank you. Because I minister to the poor, but if you're poor, it's hard to minister to the poor.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You know, that's a really, I love that you said that, because a lot of people, I think, who are in that situation will look up at people who are not in that same situation and be angry about it. Well, you have money. Look at all the things you can do. That's not what it's about. You know, if you, it's kind of how I look at the radio station right now. Every host that we have on a show is very, very organic. They've come here organically, and their goal with coming here is not to make money.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So if you're in it to make money, the money will not come, because that's what your goal is. But if your goal is to help people, if you have an authentic purpose for what you're doing and what you're sharing and where you want your life to go, the financial blessing comes.
Yes.
Totally.
It comes, and then you can pay that forward to other people.
Yes.
And so even just sharing your stories and telling your truths about the struggles that you have as entrepreneurs, the things that have gone right, because even when things are going right, we still have struggles. It's
Of course.
a
Totally.
challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, this is life. Life is not easy.
No.
No.
God never said it was going to be. I mean, if you're a Bible reader,
Yeah.
you can clearly see
Fine print.
it's there. It's no one's had it easy.
No.
And even the wealthy, and I'm talking mega wealthy.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to look at people, and just like Andy Nolan when he was on earlier, he said, "Look, you know, he didn't say it in these words, but you know, he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. You know, he had to work for everything he did. He put himself through law school. And that's the same thing for my husband. I mean, sometimes I think people look at people in those positions and
So
go,
true. Yeah.
oh, they got everything they wanted. Let me tell you, that man sacrificed, you know, working 90 plus hours a week, put himself through college, put himself through law school. And then it's years before we paid off that debt, you know, when the good case came, you know,
Yeah.
but guess what? That case took 5 years,
Well,
Sure.
you know, so there's a lot to the grind to making it happen. But the thing is that he enjoyed it
Yeah,
along the
that's the
way.
key.
The stress and the roller coaster ride that you're on is just a part of it. And you have to learn how to find that flow and
Yep.
find the good with the bad. So that's kind of where you and Lauren are at too, right? I mean, there was sacrifice. I mean, you're on the road,
Totally.
you know, your home is not there anymore.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you turn a corner and you're like, I don't want to be here. You got to figure out what's the next step. And so it's exciting to watch that from my perspective,
Sure.
to watch you guys just get out there and hit it. But let's go back, because for, you know, not everybody tunes into the bombshell, and tell people what Grande Digital does.
Yeah, no. So Grande Digital, it's our digital marketing. I like to look at it as like sales operations agency. And basically we work with small businesses. We look at like it's as far as their marketing goes, email marketing is one of our core offerings. And then there's also the operations piece of it where it comes into kind of ties into email as well is automation. And how that ties into it is also CRM. CRM is your database of clients and how you keep track of who you're working with. And what we really do is to kind of connect the dots, really like connect the dots. And that way you can leverage your data, email your customers, stay in tune with them, and really keep them, and really also to take the weight off of their shoulders. So for instance, some of our clients, we have a consultant, a barbershop, and a lot of the pieces that they can't handle, we handle for them on that digital marketing piece, tracking their customers, and then of course, operationalizing their data. So like how they're keeping track of it, and then how that ties into staying in touch with them. So communication is a big part of it as well, but you can't communicate unless you have the information at your fingertips.
So true.
It's a big piece of it.
That is huge. So, when you talk about breakdown CRM for those that don't know.
Yeah. So CRM is customer relationship management system. Think of it as a database. You're logging all of your customers. You're structuring it in a way. So best way I could think of it is if you have a company that deals with like a B2B business, right? So they're working with, I'll just name a few, Google, Facebook, etc. And then you have all of your clients and contacts within that. You're going to keep track of how much they're paying. If it's a subscription-based business, when does their subscription expire? And then of course you're keeping track of your deals that you're closing and so on. So some examples of CRM system include for small businesses, pretty big lately is Keep. It's KEAP, as well as HubSpot. HubSpot's big into small business as well. I utilize it. It's one of our core offerings actually for developing CRMs as well. And it really, again, it gives you that power of the data. So then within that platform specifically, it encases email marketing as well as sales automation and so on. I know that was a lot, and but that's, think of it as a database for your customers.
That's not a lot. It was a good description because a lot of people don't know. And I think a lot of people don't understand the importance it is to follow up with your clients.
Oh, 100%.
So to have, I don't want to say an automated system, but at least a tracking system that says, hey, it's time.
Absolutely.
You need to call, Joey.
Yeah.
And see how things are going. Is he happy with the product? Does he need more?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
What's next?
Right.
Okay, you're satisfied with that. Even with what you do for your business, you've got to follow up and see, okay, what's changed?
Yes.
And also offer to your clients what's changed. Same thing with Rejeweled. It's that same thing. I've got new stuff. I mean, you're constantly creating.
Yes.
So no two pieces are alike.
Right.
Which makes your business so incredibly unique. I bought the hat thing doesn't work with my fedora.
No. If you had tried, I would have went, girl, no.
Yeah, no. I mean, I did lay it up there.
Yeah, you're like, let's try it.
And I was like, nope, doesn't work with the fedora. I think a smaller one would.
Yeah.
But so I had to at least put it up there anyway.
I know.
I just had to look at it.
on
I was
yesterday.
like, oh, it looks so pretty. I can't wait to wear. I can't wait to wear it with one of my cowgirl hats. But that's the thing. It's being able to contact that person that bought from you, 3 months ago to say, hey, I know you loved this piece.
Right.
And the CRM can literally track which product it was that they bought. Now I know from the unique creative side, it's very hard to name your products or give it something because it's so unique.
Right.
But there's ways of doing it. There's ways of going, okay. And you can, in the CRM, you could put a digital picture.
Oh, you could put anything, a digital picture. I mean, you could put, obviously there's just a simple thing that you could leverage, just like naming conventions, like necklaces, types of colors of necklaces and so on. I mean, you could even think of it in broad strokes too. It's just like a customer that has come back simply reaching out for a review and automating that process is another example. And it doesn't necessarily have to be specific to that piece. That's another level. Yes, 100%. But
well, that's really cool. I mean, in saying that,
sure.
Christina does a lot of shows that are, or a lot of, in person, they're fairs and they're fairs. I don't know, fairs.
Yeah.
Farmers markets, stuff like that.
Street fairs.
Pop-up sales. And so a lot of times those sales are happening fast.
Yeah.
And, unlike when I met her, it was at the end of the farmer's market. And so it just was, I was very drawn to her. I was drawn to her tent. I was like, I got to go over there. That's the red bookends.
Okay.
that I bought. I bought
Yes.
those from her along with some jewelry,
Got
and
it.
that's how we met.
Yeah.
And so we had a little more time to talk and get the history of what she was doing, because these pieces were all so unique. I'm like, okay, there's a story here,
Sure.
and I need to know what it is.
Mhm.
But when you're on the selling side of that, you don't necessarily get to always connect that deeply with the
No,
customer.
no.
Mm,
And so I'd love to find a solution for her
sure.
to where she could quickly, track it. Like, okay, this customer bought this piece, don't know a name for it because it's unique, right?
Yep.
But maybe it's a quick, hey, would you hold that up for me? I want to get a quick picture of you in the piece because I want to remember you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Social media.
I know. It's so
Posting.
true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
and asking them too, let me tag you.
Yeah.
Let me tag you in this photo really quick.
Yeah.
What's your name and number, or even just quickly text
And getting
them.
their email is so
Yeah.
important. I mean,
Very.
I had a coach back in Arizona, and we would do pizza like twice a week because it was like $6 for a salad and pizza. And so I just got bigger and bigger. But, it was very good.
That's happened to me this week with these two cooking at my house.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's all I did for 2 days when it snowed. I was like, eating my feelings. But so yeah, she coached me. She's like, you got to hit them right when they're standing there. You got to be, and I still first of all, I'm standing behind this table by myself, and you've got 6 or 7 women in your booth.
Mhm.
You're gonna try to get one thing done, which is basically get their money. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is that crude to say it like that? But
No, it's not.
Not
It's
at
the
all.
truth.
yeah, it
That's
is
the
true.
truth.
You know,
You're in
and so you're
business.
in wheeling and dealing, and I'm sharing my story, and I'm loud. So anybody within the vicinity is like, dang, that girl's loud. But I cannot help myself. It is something else. But be yourself, just be yourself, because it's not really the jewelry they're buying. They're buying my story. They're paying for my time. It makes them feel good when they leave my booth. I've had women literally their faces just twist and turn because God's like, girl, we need to deal with that back there because that is crippling you. And I used to take it personally. But hey, what did I say? Then I started realizing, no, literally they're hearing things that is making them think twice about how they're thinking about themselves or about God. Because I was talking about forgiveness on the way here, and I was like, okay, Lord, help me forgive so-and-so. And the list was like 2 or 3, I mean, there's stuff you just get stuck on, and
Sure.
you got to whittle that sucker down, man. And how do you do that? You keep talking to God about it, because based behind that unforgiveness is hurt.
Yes.
And
yes.
so when I was widowed the first time, I was so mad at God. I was spitting nails, honey. And I dragged my kids to church because I was like, if anybody's going to mess up those children, it's going to be me. Like we are going, and it saved my life, but I was mad at God. And somebody pinned me down in a
We're going to go to a quick commercial. Hang on to that story because we want to hear the rest of it. We'll be right back after this quick break here on JoCo Business Connections. Stay tuned.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. When I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilfred Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
I would like to personally invite you out to the Blue Family Fund Casino Night. An evening of all your favorite casino games, next level auction items, great music, and an open bar. February 26th, 7 p.m. at the beautiful TX Whiskey Ranch in Fort Worth, Texas. All proceeds from the evening will benefit families of first responders. You need to get your tickets today at bluefamilyfund.org.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
JoCo Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Welcome back to the second half of JoCo Business Connections here on JoCo Community Radio. I'm Tiffany Carlin with Nona Reed in the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat. I think that's the best way to say it, right? And you don't mind being there.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we both drive crazy. So, hey,
Oh, gosh.
just turn over the wheel to somebody. We got two great guests that are in studio with us. Joey DeGrande with DeGrande Digital. And of course, Christina Scharer with Rejeweled, telling her story again. And we're doing some great brainstorming here. And that's what this is all about, is creating intentional connections and coming up with ideas that can help each other as entrepreneurs be better at what we do. Find the next steps, find new ways, share new ways with other people to be successful, whatever success looks like for you, because that looks different to everybody. It's not the same thing for everyone. We're all looking for something different. So keep that in mind when you're trying to measure success, especially your own. Don't compare it to what other people's success story is. 100%. Everybody has their own
100%.
story, and you have your own level of success. And so we hope that each one of you will reach that goal for yourself. So thanks for tuning in here on JoCo Community Radio. We are the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, you can simply go to TuneIn JoCo, that's JoCo, tuneinjoco.com, and download the free app. We are streaming live simultaneously on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter. You can watch us or you can listen. Just depends on what you're into. No judgment, okay? No judgment. Watcher, listener, whatever. It's all up to you. All of our shows can also be found on any one of your favorite podcast platforms, such as Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and Spreaker. Of course, you check out our lineup and more. It's changing, updating the website right now. Just letting you know if that page is missing right now. So please come back and check it out. JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your local Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-TEX-HAIL. That's toll free. Get her in your corner before the next storm hits, because hail happens, wind happens here in Texas. And when your commercial property gets that kind of damage, and this includes churches, bowling alleys, strip malls, large homes, whatever it is, 99% of the time, that insurance company does not want to pay the full amount of your claim. So you've got to have somebody to help advocate. And that's what they do. Patriot Claims will come out, assign a private adjuster, and help you advocate with your insurance to make sure you get paid correctly. So get her in your corner before the next storm hits. Call toll-free 844-TEX-HAIL. So thanks again for joining us. We are talking with Christina Scharer again with Rejeweled, and Joey DeGrande with DeGrande Digital. And we're talking, before we went to break, you were telling us a story. Do you remember where you left off?
I do.
Okay, so start that story again, because I know we want to hear the
I was just talking about unforgiveness, how it really stymies you and stops you from your potential, and I remember just being so bitter after my first husband died, because we were doing all the right things. We were feeding the poor in South Central Los Angeles, 45th and Broadway, if you know anything about that. That's where the Rodney King riots broke out, which I happened to move out of like a week or two before.
Wow.
I mean, as a widow, the stories. So after my husband passed, I just, was so disappointed, and disappointment's part of life, you know what I'm saying? But you don't stop there. It's an appointment.
Absolutely.
I don't go to the doctors and stay there all day. I'm like, get me out of here. Let's do this, because I got places to go and people to see, right? And so I just carried all this bitterness. And I remember going to a women's retreat. My husband and my girlfriends conspired against me, and I literally thought I was going somewhere else. And I got kidnapped to go to this retreat because I didn't want to go. Don't drag me to those things. My God, it's horrible. And anyway, so I remember just going, showing up, and this one gal came to me, and I never met her before. And she goes, "Why do you hate God?" And I was like, "Oh, dang. Oh, now I hate you." No, I'm kidding. But, it's like God just pulled the covers. He's so merciful. And he's like, "We got to deal with this, honey. I know your heart. You don't hate me. You're disappointed." And it's why Jesus hung on the cross. He said, "Why have you forsaken me?" So when I read that, I was like, wow, he said that. I can feel that. But there was a bigger story happening. There was a point. There was a glory coming. And we have to think in those terms, And so many women, I don't know about men, so I don't speak for them, but I know a lot of women who literally stop living, and I don't blame them. Because I tried that, and it's like holding your breath. Eventually, you just got to start breathing again.
Right, absolutely.
It's ridiculous, But God is merciful and he's patient. And I spent that whole weekend just on my face at this women's retreat, just forgiving God for what I thought he did to harm me. I mean, you're serving him. You're doing all the right things.
Right.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, checking off the boxes. We were feeding the poor in South Central LA. I mean, I don't know how low you can go.
Right.
But we loved it.
Hurt happens. I mean, pain is a big root of evil, because things happen that we don't understand, and clearly your husband was needed in heaven. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what that story is until we get there, and find out. Okay, all right, why God? And now tell us. But hurt happens and people get stuck in it. I've gone through a lot of stuff in the past 2 years, and the time flies by so quickly, you don't even realize it. And, I sat down at the piano with my cousin last night. And I realized that's the first time I touched the piano in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not written a song.
Wow.
And I have not touched that piano in 2 years. And
That's crazy.
I was really blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, to think about that,
Yeah, for sure.
and then I'm trying to teach my cousin, and man, we got work to do. I got work to do on Lauren, but she plays by ear. I'm like,
So
I didn't even know you played by ear too. Like, this is great. It's just, it was a great night, but that's how stuck we can get when you're in that situation. And it holds you back. It holds you back from growing your business. It holds you back from your personal growth, and it holds you back from helping other people too.
Oh gosh, yes.
And so I'm so glad that and appreciative that you were able to dive in and come out of that, because look at all the people that you have touched and helped along the way. And so that continues, as a small business owner. And as you grow and you look at the next steps of what you're doing, the last time you were here, you talked about your business, the very first business card that you made.
Right.
And it had all these different titles on it. Tell everybody what those titles were.
I felt like I was supposed to make business cards, and I wrote on them. I had them made professionally, so they weren't all janky, I mean, let's pay the money, people. We're keeping somebody else in business. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to present yourself, So anyways, it said author, speaker, and decorator. And I was thinking today, real quick, I used to do baskets. I've had so many businesses, and I know you have too. And,
it's creators.
It's awesome. I love it. God's like, you excelled there, but I don't want you doing it for 30 years, honey. I got this over here. Like, this is amazing. You thought that was cool? Check this out.
That's a really good point to say that too, that changing directions in your business is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean failure.
No.
It really doesn't. It just means that you weren't in the right spot the first time. I looked to a guy who is from around here who's he went to owning his own food truck. He then opened a restaurant, and then he ended up leaving there, and he was going to become the head cook for a restaurant. It didn't work. And now he's looking at his next thing. It doesn't mean he failed at those things.
Right.
meant that it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't the right place
Right.
for him, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And he's going to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just that next step. It's like you and Lauren on the road.
I mean, another piece of it too. It's like, it's not, you can look at it as not your time, but also more so just like the learning lesson. Like, what are the pieces that you're gaining from it? Like, I think back as far as I was always an entrepreneur, like growing up as a kid, like from the minute I was like 5 years old, doing simple lemonade stands to, you know, when I was in high school into college, like car detailing, every bit and piece of it. Like, obviously I don't do it now, but the point is that you take the little bite-sized bits of knowledge and then how do you piece it together? And then that's, you know, how it comes together today. And then who knows, like what we're doing now might be another version of what we're doing in 10 to 15 years from now. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, but it's a matter of compounding that knowledge to get to the next level.
Yeah.
That is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take the pieces of what you didn't do right 10 years ago, and then now you take it and you look at it and you put it, that puzzle piece, and now you go, oh, that's why I did that 10 years ago, because it fits right here. And so you having that business card that you first made and going, well, I feel like an author, I feel like a decorator, and I feel like I forget what the third
speaker.
One, the speaker. And we talked about this a little bit the last time, but here you are now. I saw you post something just the other day, or well, actually the one I read, that soon you're going to be telling this story all over the world. Tell me what that means.
Well,
what's happening?
I've had no engagements whatsoever. No one's calling me to do that, but that's my heart's desire.
JoCo's calling, by the way. We talked about that a little bit the last time.
I know. And when I got rescheduled, when I got rescheduled the first time, it was canceled, and my brain went, "Ooh, that's a negative."
No.
So what? No, honey, wait. I flipped it. I said, I told my brain right away, no, baby girl, you got rescheduled.
Yeah.
You are on the calendar. And if it doesn't happen, it will. And if it doesn't happen, so what? I have to go that way. You know what I mean? It's not a negative. It's just how I roll. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I don't hang my hat on one thing, and I don't expect people to hold me up. You're not going to let me down because you're not holding me up. You know what I mean?
That's right.
There's some things, but the cards were made and I handed them out, and crickets. I didn't hear anybody about, you know, but now, you know, and what I wrote about just, you know, the engagements or the speaking and going around the country, God told me years ago that I'd go global. My jewelry's global.
Right.
But I'm hopefully on the heels of my jewelry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, that's amazing.
Well, that's the one. See it, believe it, receive it. We talk about this a lot, and whether you're a person of faith or you're not a person of faith, it's the law of attraction.
Yeah,
it's science, and it's science that came from the Bible. Yeah. And if you're not a Bible reader, and if you're not a person of faith, you can still open up that book and you can read it and go, oh, that is in the Bible. It's the law of attraction. So positive attracts positive and negative attracts negative. So if you're going to speak the negative into your own life, just like you said, you flipped it, then that's what's going to happen to you. You'll stay in that place. But it's about seeing it and knowing that it exists and you want it, and believing that you can have it, and knowing that you deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve it, because God said, actually,
right,
that you do. I know we're going a lot of spiritual stuff here. Sorry, guys.
It's spiritual. Life is spiritual.
But life is spiritual, right? Whether you believe or not, it is spiritual. But I want to go back to the whole business card thing, because this is a conversation that we've been talking about quite a bit this past week, especially when you're talking about the CRM follow-up and what to do. And Joey's got some great tips that I want you to share about tossing those business cards in the trash.
Yeah, no, it's another thing. Like, even I used them in the past. Again, car detailing business, car business I've been in. And at the end of the day, like, we're digital now. It's over. And then what were we just talking about before? How do we obtain phone numbers? How do we obtain email? And especially if you're networking, one of the easiest things that you can do is like a digital business card. And we're not talking about anything fancy. You could get like an actual digital business card where it hosts a URL and it loops back to your website. Something even as simple as an image of that business card. And when you're networking, you're like, hey, I don't have a physical business card. What's your phone number? I'll text you my digital one. Boom. You have their name, you have their contact information. They have now your information if you want to send them to your website. So something as simple as that could really just change the game. And you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. In addition to that, we're also talking about different systems. If you were in the receiving end of it too, there are tools out there where it could actually digitize like the information on that business card. Like again, with HubSpot, take a picture image of that business card, strips the data and puts it into your CRM. So the landscape is changing.
Yeah.
But there's just some other ways.
Is it working better than when, and I don't think HubSpot was the first one who started doing that, because whichever one it was that came out first, it was not grabbing the digital content properly. And so I, like probably many others, just got so frustrated with it. I was like, forget it, because I got to go in here and I got to correct it and make corrections. And so is HubSpot digitally capturing correctly? Is it working?
It's a good question. It all depends on the business card. I mean, I've seen some crazy business cards. So it's all dependent on that. Obviously, the white background with text is going to come in clear, but it all depends. I mean, another alternative too is something that we created with one of our clients on the real estate side in terms of tracking information, is even creating a Google form and then setting up automation to send it back to your CRM. So you could be as simple as like, hey, what's your phone number and email? Type it in on your phone, triggers automation, and then gets it sent back to HubSpot or a database, whatever you're utilizing. So there's different ways that you could kind of solve that problem. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the business card might not come through, but it's all dependent. But yeah,
there's companies like Linktree, there's some other companies that, and I can't think of the name of it off the top, that now have the card that you can just tap to your phone, or you can even wear a bracelet.
Yes.
And people can just tap their phone to it and pull the information off of it.
It's true.
But if you're a small business owner, obviously we like to streamline the financial side of our marketing.
Right.
Number one, you can't start a small business without budgeting for marketing and advertisement. It is the number one big mistake that new small businesses do. They budget for everything else. I need the coffee tables. I need the tables. I need the food. I need the product.
Oh yeah.
Well, you have nothing if you do not market your business and have a budget for marketing your business.
Totally.
Period. You have to do it. You have to spend that money to do it. It takes money to make money. It's not a fake saying. It's been around forever, but it takes money to make money. So you have to be willing to spend it, but you can do it smartly.
Yeah.
You can be mindful of how you do it. So if you don't want to spend extra for Linktree or HubSpot or a service like that in the beginning, simply create and this is actually something I'm doing with the radio station. This is one of the things we're changing up right now, because we've been talking about it all week, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that.
Yep.
Because it's smart. But I'm going to get your phone number, and I'm going to email you, and I'm going to text you, and I'm going to take you to a page directly on our website that gives you all of our streaming information.
Yeah.
And how to reach us, how to download it all in one spot. Very small and simple, and so you can just click it and go right there and have our information. So, and that's a way of, if you have a website, you're not costing yourself anything more. You're just adding another page to it. It's, do it as your contact page, or you can do it as a second page of, welcome, nice to meet you. It was so great. I mean, it could be as simple message as that. It was great meeting you today. Thanks so much for, coming to my website. Here's pop in your information, or here's mine, shoot me back a message. You could do you could be creative with it.
Sure.
And
incentivize them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great idea.
And
right.
In terms of e-commerce, for instance, if you have a website with the jewelry, you could incentivize them with, we've all probably seen it time and time again, sign up for our newsletter and you basically get their email, 10% off of your next order or whatever it might be.
Right.
I mean, that's another way to kind of, data mine essentially.
Well, and what I like about that is, and I think of Rejeweled, specifically when we do this, because you have so many different inspirational stories and things that you want to do to help people and to continue helping. Yours could be is, I've got an inspiration for the day.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to share that with you. And so this is how things happen. Like you come up with ideas. This is how it happens when we're at the round table or any table and you're talking about this kind of stuff. But how cool would that be to have that, be able to follow up with that person,
right?
And for them to get a daily inspirational message from you, or even weekly inspiration. And it just keeps you in their brain. And what's more better than sharing a positive message? Which is what people so desperately need right now.
Right.
Right. They need the good, we need the positive, and they also need the real. We need the real stuff that's happening the good, the bad, the ugly. And and that's business too, by the way. People do business with people, not with a business card.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the frustrations I've experienced, going to networking events and, oh, great. Nice to meet you. Do you have a business card?
Mm.
And I don't want your business card.
Yeah.
I don't even know you yet. I don't know you yet. I want to you've got to have that elevator pitch down. Give me your quick 15 seconds of who you are and what you do and why do I want to talk to you.
Right.
So and then you go from there.
So good.
And
so good.
Preferably with the great, what's your number? I'll send you my link.
Totally.
And then honestly, that makes people think it's, oh, your link? Yeah, my link.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Give me. I mean, it intrigues people who are they're so used to the standard business card.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They're so used to the standard business card. Oh, link? Oh, cool. And that's actually what happened to me when I met Diana Roberts. And she's a realtor, also one of our show hosts. And I asked her, I was like, we're talking for a while. I was like, can I get your card so I can follow up with you in an email? And she goes, oh, what's your number? I'll text you my link. And it was, I think she used, it's Linktree or one of its competitors. I don't know which one. And I was so intrigued by that. I was like, pulled it up on my phone. I was like, this is awesome. I must do this. So, all right. Well, we've got a little less than 6 minutes left here at the JoCo Business Connections. I want to know where Rejeweled is going next. What's happening? Do you have some markets or shows coming up or places you're going to pop up at?
Well, the Burleson Market is opening up in April. Super excited about that. I did commit to that. But between now and then, I'm faced with having to head back to Arizona and close down my storage facility that I've been paying on for 7 years. Do the math on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's over 10 grand.
Oh gosh, don't.
Easily.
I said.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
meant to say don't do the math.
Don't do the math.
I can't help you. Want to know why?
I'm like, oh.
I've been paying for 7 years since my mom passed away on 2 storage units. So I get it. And it's her business in there.
Oh,
it's her business. It's her book collection.
It's her. I
It's
mean,
her book collection.
yeah.
It's really hard to let go of it. We're still figuring that part out.
I know.
You
That's
So
true.
That's why I know what it costs.
No, I know. My husband was an entrepreneur and he was a golfer. So he built this golf company. And so it's in this shed. It's not a shed, it's a facility.
Yeah.
I hate the word shed. Sounds so, so country. But no, this is like air conditioned, And so anyways, you walk in there and on the left, it's his entire company that he never got off the ground. Thousands and thousands of dollars of golf clubs, balls, the covers, all of it. And it's designed after him, which he was a very short, petite. I don't know. I was taller a little bit, but it's called Caveman Golf. And there's the Tyrannosaurus Club and the Brontosaurus. I mean, it's like, because you can imagine when golf started, it pretty much was in caveman days because men are, they got to do something, right? After work, or on Saturday or something.
So what are you going to do with all of it?
Well, honey, that's why I'm like neutral about it because my kids don't know what to do with it. I've got 6 in total, which I want to give a shout out to my husband's ex-wife, because last time I was here, I said I raised 6 kids. That's not true. I helped keep 6 kids alive.
Yes.
That's all I did. And she did a majority with the other 2. So I wanted, totally be honest about that.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's a great mama. She knows all my kids, all 6 are functional and beautiful and smart and giving and, still causing me grief, but whatever. That's parenthood.
Hey, praise God. I'm one of 7, so I completely understand. Where in Arizona? I have a purpose in asking you.
Yeah, Avondale. It's west side of Arizona.
West side of
Phoenix,
Arizona.
basically, is your big city.
Okay.
We're like 20 minutes from there.
Okay, because they're going to be in Sedona.
We're going to be in Sedona.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Next Monday. Yeah,
so beautiful.
I think that when you get there, you're going to need to take a picture of all of this. I need to see a visual of what it is that you're dealing with and what all is in there, so I can understand the golf products that he
Yes.
has.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued. I'm
They're
intrigued.
Well done. He was a first class guy. I mean, 100%. He was like, I mean, thank God.
So was he manufacturing these
Well,
products?
he got them made. He got them made in China, and I don't even know what condition they're in. Hopefully they're still decent. I'm sure something's going on with them. That's just how things are. But no, he had them really well done, thousands of dollars invested. And, he just, he died basically taking care of his family. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
was his goal. And he was good at it, so it's rough, but yeah.
Next steps for Grande Digital. I know you have, when you started out the business, real estate was the beginning of the targeted market, and that's because Lauren was a realtor. She's hung up the realtor
Yes.
coat once your house was sold, so she can, and was already in business for 3 years,
Yes.
working for realtors, doing this marketing side of it. So, but that's not where you guys just want to stay. I mean, that's not your only market of customers.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of our core business, because we have even packages specific to real estate agents, so that's a given. But at the end of the day, because again, real estate agents, they're similar to like entrepreneurs. They're salespeople at the end of the day. So like entrepreneurs, consultants, it's another area that we're getting into. As well as even other small businesses, barbershops, or other, e-commerce stores, or even just physical stores. It's another area that we're digging into. And that's also part of our journeys as well. Like getting that opportunity to, we're going to be going to Arizona, to California, to Oregon. All those areas are also where we're going to begin to network and start to go to small time shops and try to, again, operationalize our business with technology. I mean, we'll be looking at what their current tech infrastructure looks like, and then of seeing what we can do with it, how we could leverage the information. Can we automate some of their processes, email being a core piece of it, but others as well, as we were talking about, like just even data mining. So that's kind of where we're going at. It's branching off from real estate, but also helping other entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm actually becoming a client with one of my companies, so I'm super excited about that.
Yes.
Tiffy Sleeves is gonna, you guys are gonna be working with Tiffy Sleeves to help get that rolling back in the direction it needs to be in.
For sure.
If you are looking for someone to help you in the marketing realm, by the way, they are completely virtual business. So
Yes.
you can be a customer from anywhere. And it's the same thing for Rejeweled. You can be a customer from anywhere. Go to DiGrandeDigital.com, Grande digital.com, and search for Rejeweled 2 on Facebook, also on Etsy.
Just go to Facebook.
Just go to Facebook.
Yeah.
Better place to go. Thank you guys for joining us at the table.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
We'll see you back here next week on JoCo Business Connections. Have a great day.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. 2 years after COVID first turned up in the U.S., the coronavirus case count plunged 50% in the United States last week from the week before. That, according to the World Health Organization,